Hello everyone, welcome to this second day of this NFT Expo organized by the Nemesis. I'm Amelia Tomasicchio, CEO and co-founder at The Cryptonomist, and I'm very happy today to moderate this new panel about the NFT market. So let me introduce you the speakers for this event. So we have Neil McLennan, Alexis Nicosia, and Meg Williams. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. Hi, Meg.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, Meg.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Hi,
Meg.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So first of all, can you please introduce yourself so our audience can get to know you better? Neil, you can start, then we go Alexis and Meg.
Sure. Hello, everybody out there. My name is Neil McLellan. I'm known as a music producer and mixer. You've probably heard of The Prodigy. I've done 6 albums, maybe 7 albums with them, producing and mixing that stuff, and then a whole slew of electronic music over the decades. My passion is everything to do with music, and I'm really excited to be on this panel today to talk about the opportunities that NFT bring for musicians and fans out there.
Well, hello. Hi, my name is Alexis Nicosia, and I am the managing director at the Economy, which is an advisory firm based out of Bangkok and Singapore, mainly doing advisory work on blockchain projects, and now really looking at diversifying into the NFT space. We are undertaking a new project built in-house as well, and we are very, very excited as well to present some of the projects we're doing here on that panel eventually.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Meg.
Yeah, hello. My name is Meg Williams. I'm based here in Palma de Mallorca, which is our headquarters globally, but our first Europe flagship gallery for Stick No Bills posters, which was founded by us in Asia 10 years ago. And despite all sorts of terrestrial situations out there, such as terrorism and pandemic, has grown from strength to strength. Yeah, I'm delighted to be here today to talk about NFTs as well, because it really feels like the best next step forward for us, you know. So we are intent on becoming pioneers of setting up a metaverse virtual gallery of Stick No Bills in the NFT arena, to parallel what we're doing in the real world.
Awesome.
Very cool. And Neil, as a famous music producer, when did you start to being interested in the NFT, and why?
Okay. Really, the interest firstly came off from a couple of conversations I had in New York many years ago. Actually, my friend had a shop in New York where she had one of the first Bitcoin ATM machines. So we couldn't really work out what this was at first because it was such a new thing. And I would always pop back on my way back from the studio to say hello to my friend. And we'd always see these students coming in and sticking loads of money into the ATM, right? So we were going, hang on, what is this? This is kind of interesting. And this was a long time ago. And we started sort of just looking at this and researching this. And from that moment on, I understood the potential here to be able to, you know, value things in different ways, and how that was going to move forward in terms of giving control to musicians with smart contracts, and also how it could bring the fanverse together. That really was an interesting thing to me, because I could suddenly see a way that would not necessarily bypass the way that the traditional systems work, but would enable a different way of working that could give us a more direct feel and a more direct approach to fans and bands. I thought that was really interesting. I have to say that the idea and the understanding, once I started to understand the smart contracts, it really made me think of there's a famous record company guy called Michael Rosenblatt, and when I was very young, I got flown to New York to do a session, and I was incredibly excited. And I'll never forget what he said to me at lunch. He said, "Neil, it's not called show friends, it's called show biz, right? It's got biz in it, you better watch out." Now, that advice has stood me in really good stead over the years, and having an army of people look after my legal work, and then those legal issues always popped up and would involve another whole wrangling of crazy stuff. Smart contracts just look and are the way of the future to protect people like myself, to protect bands, to also make sure that things are always evolving and moving as that art or that music evolves over time as well. You know, I think that's probably one of the most interesting things for me, that really got me sparked on this road. And once I was on that road, the possibilities just start opening up, and it's not so much you know, why can't we do this? It's more like, when can we do this? You know, and as people have really started to, you know, bite the bullet with this and, you know, make it real over the years, I think we're now looking at a situation where it's going to be something that's going to definitely take over in the mainstream of business life as far as artists and musicians go.
And Alexis, how would you explain the opportunities offered by NFT?
Sorry, Amelia, you have a bit of an echo.
Yeah, I don't know why. How would you explain the opportunities offered by NFT? Why you are so interested about this new market?
Okay, those are two questions. So the first question is, why am I interested?
Yeah.
Well, the interest is a bit more like a show friend more than show business. To back what Neil was saying, in the sense that you know, we're arriving at a point where, you know, not everything has to necessarily make only money. Everything has to make some sort of logic, you know, some logical sense. And I do believe that, you know, with the tokenization of assets, okay, sure, there's a good distribution of the capital. Okay, so of course, you know, NFT represents tokenization of assets. All right, in a way, and I think this sort of liberates a little bit the economy. It sort of brings a little bit of justice in the economy, right? So this is more in the sense where, you know, a fairer world, if you will. And that's an interest that I have for a very long time, because I'm in this space since 2013. And when we really understood the potential of, you know, digital assets and cryptocurrencies, then we understood that, you know, there's a lot more behind this than just making money, right? There's really a new way of freeing people and freeing ourselves from the shackles of poverty and overconsumption and you know, sort of always having middlemen that are a bit redundant, right? So at this point, I really think it's really something that was appealing to me, because it's more humanitarian in that sense, if you will. Now, why we should get into the NFT? Well, the why, it's I don't know if we all should be into the NFT. Okay, like for example, we should not all be as well shareholders in Tesla, for example. Okay. But I think it's very important that that we all pay attention to what's going on, because NFT right now, all the attention of NFT is being put mainly on, you know, proprietary of music, of art, of you know, but the spectrum is much wider than that. Okay, so we could really be doing NFT for a very wide array of things. You know, it could be financial products, could be insurance products, could be I don't know, diplomas could be so very many things, right? So people should really pay attention to not only NFTs and the focus that we put into the art of it, but into what NFT are going to bring to the world economy in general. Okay, so that's again tokenization. And tokenization, it was very obscure when we started to speak about tokenization, you know, back but when I started in this space in 2013, you would speak about tokenization to people. I mean, people would barely understand what crypto was, so let alone what a non-fungible token would be like, right? But of course, with NFTs and bringing something like the art attached to it, okay, or attached to it, it was easier for people to understand. Okay. Now, again, to answer to your question of why we should get into this, because we still haven't really found the bottom of that, right? And I think the more we get into this, the more we will find real application to this. Okay. For instance, like I'll give you as an example, like the 5G. I mean, everybody wants 5G. We don't really know what we're going to do with 5G once we have it, but we will find the applications when we have it. And we will know because those applications are going to come. And then we realize that we're going to finally discard very old concepts that didn't work very well then, that were very inefficient then. And they will be much better now with 5G. So the same with NFTs. I think it's important that we get into it, that we understand, that we test its applications, okay, that we test as well its limits, and then maybe we continue building upon it, right? And again, keep this in mind, that the fact that thanks to the tokenization, we can really include everybody. Okay, so it really means that everybody can be included. Okay, and everybody can own NFTs. I can own NFTs of myself. I can own NFTs of every asset that I own, and I think this is a very empowering thing for everybody, really.
Megan, what's your opinion about this? Which application are the most interesting for you? Meg?
Here we go.
I think you had the mute.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, I think the way I see it, it's almost like you have a Russian doll of variants sometimes if you have a scale. So we have a mini postcard that's 9 centimeters by 13 right at the bottom. The way I see NFTs as an asset in the spectrum of the 150 images that we have that are live as bestsellers is that if you start at that mini postcard and you go right up to the true original, which we sell for £9,950, I value the NFT asset as one up from that in terms of the context, because it allows us to, in an encrypted, secure, timestamp fashion, lock down our IP and then replicate it and retail it in many different possible manners at all different levels, so that the collector's market is thriving online these days. And when I say the collector's market, I'm talking about right from kids collecting unicorns in Roblox right up to the alternative investment market at its peak, where people are collecting Rolls Royces and all those super high-end things. And I see us as very much positioned in the AIM space. And if we can offer our clients the ability not only to invest in the true original, one of the super, enormous 1 meter by 150 limited editions that we do with 24 carat liquid, it's gold leaf, the text on it, but also for them to own a piece of the NFT, or all of it, then it's a whole new proposition. And for them, the kudos of being able to say, hey, well, I own one of the 10 limited editions, or the true original and the NFT asset. It's a whole new kind of concept of commodifying the art that we have. And the more that art is being bought as prints, whether open or limited edition in the real world, the more iconic and sought after they become in the digital space. which to date has been very nerve-wracking for us, because on the one hand, we want everyone to have access to the images and to see them, but we've also had to battle with piracy like you wouldn't believe, yeah? Just people downloading and scanning, and now the technology's coming on for protecting GIF format from being so easily printed, you know, so there are breakthroughs happening to protect our IP on that level as well. But yeah, it's the forensic traceability that comes with innovation into an NFT variant of all of our images. This really excites not just me, but our clients such as Pan Am, such as the oldest tourist board in the world here, who we have an exclusive license to repro their original art, because I need to assure the people that we're partnering with that we're going to not only maximize sales of their IP, but also shore it up and protect it in a space that's as sophisticated as possible. The other challenge that I have is that I'm the representative for the Gallery Climate Coalition here in the Balearics, which is London born, but now a global initiative between art galleries all over the world to basically achieve carbon neutrality by 2030. So this is a very hot topic right now, with Elon Musk being sort of, you know, most blazing example of, you know, undermining confidence in the NFT space. So we're actually really feeling incredibly lucky to be working with Alexis and Eddie, his business partner, who we see as being top of their game in this field in terms of creating a center of excellence for the luxury arena to participate in NFTs, and also doing it in the most you know, carbon neutral way that we can. And yeah, I mean, there's news coming in every day about things that we're doing to try and achieve this, and all sorts of innovation that is music to my ears, because it would be, I would be a hypocrite to be representing the GCC across the Balearics for Ibiza and Mallorca and Menorca and here, and at the same time minting NFTs, you know, that are generating a lot of CO2. So, you know, that this is a challenge that we're determined to overcome, because we definitely see the future is in NFTs, but we've just got to do it in the most sensitive and intelligent way possible.
And Neil, for you, what's the most interesting application for NFT? Maybe not only in the music space, or what's your favorite project that you have seen this day developed for NFT?
I think what's really buzzed me up recently is Quincy Jones's thing, and reading about his understanding of, you know, becoming carbon neutral by developing his blockchain there. I think that was really interesting. And I think, Meg, you're exactly right. Bands like Gorillaz getting flack for going into the NFT market, whilst at the same time, you know, they've always been totally, you know, fighting for the environment as well. You know, is that a hypocritical move? You know, it's definitely something that I think is temporary and will be 100% addressed moving forward. I don't believe that it's you know, the amount that it costs at the moment to manufacture this stuff is temporary. I'm sure about that. And so, you know, moving forward, once the technology comes on board and we can basically start generating something that's much more environmentally friendly, I think we'll put that to bed. For me, the interesting thing has to be the bridge between the fan and the band. Okay, this is really, really, really exciting. I think, Meg, you definitely touched upon it with, you know, what's so good about this? Well, what's so good about the piece I have and the piece that you have is that mine's been verified. Okay, I have something that's going to be verifiable. I have a real piece. Okay, and this, when you start bridging this gap, it gets into really cool places, right? And imagine if we can put together a scenario where, you know, we've got millions and millions and millions of fans all over the world that are passionate about supporting their bands or their favorite acts. If we can, and what they've done in the past, they've bought memorabilia, right? They've bought merch, they've got this thing, they've got that. Okay, what's to stop one fan from saying, well, I've got it? Another fan goes, well, how do I know it's real? Okay, so we move into a space now where we can start verifying these pieces of merchandise. This I got the actual stage set that was performed that night. I managed to get a real copy of it from one of the roadies. Okay, that fan has that. Okay, so we work on ways to verify this through bands and through the super fans out there, and we come up with a situation where the verification of this particular piece of merchandising is verified by the band. Okay, that's super cool, right?
Yeah.
Now the band verifies that. Now suddenly the fan is sitting there going, I've got this. This is, and what's good about it? It's been verified. It's awesome. To a fan, that means everything. And we're not talking about the look, we get lots of big stories. This person did this for millions and millions, and this and that and the other. Okay, just calm it down a bit, right? And look at the everyday traffic, and look at the everyday stuff that goes on, and the chitter chatter that happens between fans that are totally passionate, right? If they can get really involved because of the band participation in what the fans are doing, right? We end up in a situation where the fans now have something that's not only to them valuable, but it's been verified on the NFT platform, right? That's awesome. I think that gives real value to something. It also moves it also means that, for instance, an artist, once they verify something from the fan, is also part of that smart contract. So when that fan decides to trade that or do something like that, the artist normally right now doesn't get a look in. There's no positivity there.
Yeah.
But if we can verify it and the artist can be part of that smart contract, there's always going to be an earning for everybody, right?
Yeah.
It makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And once we start understanding and adapting these systems where we can bring fans in closer to the band and the band get fully involved with this, and we can do this really simply by bolting onto their existing networks. We're not suddenly talking about taking things away from the systems that are already existing. We are, however, talking about things like Alexis mentioned, taking out the middleman. Okay, I think this is especially in the music game, right? There's so many middle people along the way that the artist invariably suffers, and ultimately that means the fan suffers. So if they can't reach the things that they wish to do because of a budget restriction, but actually they made a shit ton of money, on the last single, but it all got eaten up along the way by middle people, that scenario has to definitely be put to bed. We're working in a way and in a world where we can end the sort of secondhand car salespeople that are all over this business. Every contract I sign has got an awful tail in it, a tail that this thing keeps stinging you. 10 years later, you just go, oh God, I still have to pay that person out of this. Well, if you have a smart contract that says when this finishes, that no longer applies, and it's documented, it can't be changed. I don't need an army of lawyers to go through and make this happen. Okay, that's the real world that we're talking about. That to me moves things forward. But ultimately, I think the most interesting thing that can be happening right now is bridging the gap between the fans and the bands, and really making that connection undeniable. And we can do that through the NFTs and verification of, all this merch that's out there, And moving forward, obviously, that has incredible things for stuff that they haven't made yet and they're about to put out. We can look at that. But what about all the stuff that's already out there? I think to me that's a really interesting place, and I think that that has a huge interest and ultimately will benefit the music business in general, and the fans will just have a field day with that.
Yeah.
And Alexis, how do you see the future for NFT? You mentioned that there will be a mass adoption. So how do you see the future when it will really come? Your microphone is in mute, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
Done.
we've got you now.
I'm back. Well, how do I see this panning out? So I believe like everything, it will go through cycles, right? So there will be like a very big cycle of never seen before excitement. Everybody thinks it's a fad. There's always like a bit of a boom, a bubble, and a burst, right? So this is cycles that we've seen so very many times, repeating on and on again. And then obviously once we start to see the limitations of the good points of NFTs and the limitations of the bad points of NFTs, we'll find a right equilibrium where we'll see, there will be mass adoption at that point. Okay. Again, I think Meg has voiced concerns on sustainability, on being a bit more green. Neil was talking about, being able to bring NFTs to fans, to millions of fans. I mean, we're talking about billions of fans here. So before we get in there, it will take a little while. But obviously, we have to first go through the motions, right? Like everything, like we've seen, like with the crypto at the beginning, there was nobody, then everybody, then the crypto started to go ballistic and then come down again, and then there was a bit more adoption, okay, and then we saw a lot of governments that wanted to crack it down, but now we've let the jack out of the box, so we won't be able to put that back in, really. Okay, so now the cat out of the bag, yeah, right. So now we realize that there is a true potential. How fast? Okay, soon. It is already soon. It's already now. So that is how soon. I think we are going towards the right direction. How fast for everybody to start to have NFTs? I think that sports, it's a good angle. Music is a good angle. Art is a good angle. But maybe there should be an angle that is a bit more compelling, that is touching people a bit more on their inside, if you will. I don't know if it's to be able to do donations. I don't know if it's NFTs for the World Food Program. I don't know if it's I don't know what is it. Okay, I don't know what's going to be the killer app of NFTs that's really going to liberate NFTs and NFTs for everybody. Maybe the day we'll see people tattoo free NFTs on the chest. I don't know. But it's gonna come soon. It's gonna come soon because I think NFT doesn't have the same stigmata that crypto had. The first stigmata that crypto had was the complication of it. I mean, try to explain to someone crypto. I mean, someone. I mean, my grandmother, if I explain to her crypto, she is asking me if I'm sick, if I need to have some soup. So, but she'll be more inclined to understand NFTs. I mean, without really going into the technicality of it, she might be able to understand a bit better. So again, I don't think NFTs suffer the same stigma as crypto does. And also, I think everybody can understand, again, tokenization. It's as simple as that. Everybody can understand that. Everybody understand that they can all own a little bit of something. Okay, so this is. I think we're gonna see a lot of excitement in the next. I would say 2 to 5 years. It's going to be great excitement in the NFT space.
We are receiving some questions from the audience. The first is from Liam from New York. And his question is, what do you think about NFT and gaming as a killer application for NFT? wants to reply.
That's for someone in particular? The question?
Huh?
Is that question for someone in particular?
It's not for someone in particular. If you want to reply, please do it.
Why don't you take it, Alex?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay, I can take it. Well, actually, NFTs come from the gaming space, really. Okay. So how do I see NFTs in the gaming space? They come from there, so they're really native from the gaming industry. For example, when people were playing, I don't know if there's Dungeon and Dragon on gaming. I'm not a gamer, so please don't all bash me on this one. But let's say Dungeon and Dragon, and I don't know, I'm all of a sudden I'm a mage, and I have that crystal ball, and then I want to sell it. Then we couldn't do it. We could only do it in a video game, right? We could only sell it by peer-to-peer on the video on the network of the video game. But now, of course, with NFT, well, we have liberated that, right? So now everything in a video game, and also video games are going to evolve, and I do believe they're going to evolve with the NFT. Okay, if you do, I don't know if all of you have seen it, but if you do watch that movie, Ready Player One, one of Spielberg. Well, that really shows a little bit, how the video games are going to become our life. Basically, we're going to be living that video game, and we are going to be into that, metaverse ourselves. And all of a sudden, we will be able to exchange stuff, and all the stuff that we'll be exchanging in that, 3D metaverse world, it will be NFT. Okay, because I won't be able to give you, my pair of sneakers in the video game, other by giving you the NFT, right?
And Meg, what's the suggestion you usually give to people who wants to enter in the NFT market from an artist point of view or collector point of view?
Go to the very, very best in pedigree, in track record. The reason that we are partnering with Alexis is that Alexis has been doing this for 11 years, playing in this arena. So he has, there's a lot of sort of startups out there now who are sort of grappling to come to terms with this technology. But really, I think we're all about compliance and best practice. It underpins everything that we do. So I think if you're on the one, I think two things determine success in what we do, and I think probably, Neil, this applies to you as well. Number one, the success is always determined by our clients, right? And that means our fans, I suppose. Nothing else really. They are the ones that determine whether or not the images that we produce are successful or not. And at the other end of the spectrum, my husband, who's creative director of Stick No Bills, he art directs 8 artists, yeah. And historically, we used to pay them a one-off fee for their illustration support for co-creation of posters with my husband. And then they would watch this poster go viral, and they would remember that they've been paid handsomely once, and see it, maybe 25,000 posters later, like, oh God, why didn't I do a different kind of deal? So we actually, during the pandemic, like a lot of people, the dust settled on the sort of furious drive of capitalism that had been going for years before, and we looked back at what we were doing, and we just felt ethically that we needed to go back to the whole nature of the contract that we have with our artists had to change. So we approached them and said, will you come on board exclusively with us to form a collective, a bit like Island Records, or a successful sort of production agency. That's really what we're doing now. We're giving artists a platform and giving the customer access to their talent and their art in a way that we want to be as comprehensive as possible. Yeah, so that it has to play in the cyber realm as well as it does in the boutique gallery terrestrial space. It's absolutely fundamental. So my advice to anyone wanting to enter this market is just seek the very, very best that are playing in it. Look at the market leaders. So I think Damien Hirst is quite interesting, just what he's been doing in the last 6 months. You know, and there's probably of everyone playing in the NFT art arena, there's only about 20% of us that have been involved for more than 3 or 4 months. Like everybody else is just in a rush to try and catch up with this craze, you know, because it's moving so fast. So I would suggest just take a deep breath and look for the centers of excellence and the ones that are really thinking intelligently about how to do this in the best possible manner for the benefit of the fans, right? That's really what it all comes back around to.
Right. Yeah, that's spot on. That's really good. That's exactly right. I think, and looking at the other question there, layer 2 gas fees.
Yeah, people is very concerned about the problem of gas with Ethereum. It's a question we always receive. It's about Ethereum 2.0 and the problems with the gas fee. Yeah.
I think the layer 2 will definitely sort of lower the gas fees. I think that ultimately will help things. But look, as Meg mentioned, it's a sort of early days. You know, the concern that's raised once those things are properly looked into and people rightfully raise those concerns, that's going to only put more people's brain together in order to get to figure out how to solve it. You know, it's just because it's insanely unenvironmentally friendly at the moment, it doesn't mean that tomorrow it's not going to be totally the opposite. Okay, there are enough brains working out how to do this that I think, yes, at the moment it's crazy, but the exponential growth of this whole thing has also been crazy. You know, we have to understand how things run in parallel with each other, and ultimately that also means that you'll get enough people working on really clever ideas to pull down these crazy costs at the moment.
And Alexis, what's your suggestion for people who want to enter in the space?
My suggestion for people to enter in the space, well, don't sell your house to get into it. Okay, that would be a
good idea.
Yeah. Do I have another advice to give, or that's the only one I can give?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Give another one? Okay. Well, get into stuff that makes you comfortable, right? Don't go into it just because you want to roll a quick buck and quick. Buy the stuff you need. Okay. If you want to get into it because you want it, because you need it, all right, then get into it, right? I mean, if you want to buy, some NFT of an artist that you find funky and great, then absolutely, you should totally do it. Okay. If you just want to buy it just because you think eventually it's going to make money, okay, is that money that you susceptible of losing? Are you okay with that? It can happen as well, right? I mean, always do the things that make you happy and make you comfortable. Okay. Now, for example, I've seen so many people getting, into crypto while crypto was, booming, and everybody's like, oh no, I want my money back. No, sorry, bro. There's no money back. You should have performed it, right? So my advice is always really buy the stuff that you need, buy the stuff that you really want, right? That's something that really touches you. Okay.
Right.
If it doesn't, then it's okay. You'll find other things to buy, right? And the other advice that I would like to give is that as Meg mentioned, because what you mentioned, Amelia, is like, what advice do I have to people who want to get into the NFT? So there's two types of people that want to get into it, right? So the NFT creator and the NFT buyer, right? So for those that want to get into the NFT and want to start to NFT things, Meg expressed that very well, saying that you need to cut through the noise. Okay, try to let a little bit all this dust settle a little bit, because now the train is already running quite fast. So otherwise you're just like gonna be like really chasing. So do a little bit of research, Okay, try to let the dust settle a bit and aim really for, for excellence. Okay, try to work with the people that, the most experienced, people that are really aiming for the best work. Okay, people that are not trying to recruit other middlemen, because otherwise, you're trying to go into an industry that cuts the middleman, but you're hiring people that get into the middleman and
Yeah.
so that's for the people who want to create NFTs. Now, there you go. Those were my two advices.
I think it's also there's it's a point to mention the number of people, how we convert what I call the analog to digital, right? How do we really ease? Look, I look at an average fan, right? They're not thinking NFTs, they're not thinking this, they don't even know how to a lot of people don't even know how to enter into this. What's a crypto wallet? What do I do with that? Holy cow. Right, let's look at the majority of the people out there. Obviously you've got you've got a lot of hype on this, and you've got a lot of people talking about it, but how the interesting thing for me is how do we bring analog to digital? How do we take these this army of fans, for instance, and how do we bring them on board into a place where they're seamlessly into the crypto world? Teaming up with bands, put the APIs onto their websites, coming up with really cool things that the wallet actually does. I think this, how you attract people into this world without it being completely daunting is something that we also have to understand and look at. I think that's a huge amount of possibilities around the corner on this stuff. And again, once people are into the world, they won't, in 5 years' time, they'll wonder what they did when they weren't in this world, But bringing them on board is going to be key, and how we do that easily, without it seeming that they have to, put on a white lab coat and suddenly look at loads of graphs and shit like that. Nah, we want to bring people on board in a very, very easy manner. I think that's going to be a challenge as well. Converting the analog to the digital.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for your time. I will close this panel, and I would invite the audience to follow the next one because we are run out of time. So thanks a lot. Sorry for the question that we didn't reply. We will have times during this day to reply. Thanks very, very much.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure. Yeah, thank you all. It's been great to participate. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Yeah, see you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.